sports fans, and welcome to SPNation Season 2. I'm your host, Arlo De Jesus, and joining me tonight are two big names in the sports world. First, we have El Banal. Hi, El. Good evening.
What's going on? What's going on, our love? What's going on, mga ka-Sports Plus? Welcome on the Monday night. Maganda yung mga pag-uusapan natin tonight.
Yes, marami. And of course, we have Dino Lee. Hi, Dino. Kamusta? Magandang gabi.
I just wanna shout out our viewers this evening. No, thank you for tuning in, and hope you can chime in with our conversation this afternoon. So comment kayo dyan. So mabasa natin later on after this discussion.
Yes, so sports fans, are you ready to elevate your sports experience? Dive into the world of live sports like never before with Sports Plus PH. Whether you're a diehard fan or simply love the thrill of the game, we have got you covered. So register now at sportsplus.ph. Alright, we have exciting topics to discuss tonight. We have 3 hot takes. First, FIVP, Men's Volleyball World Championship hosting. Medyo maganda pag-usapan yon. And for our second hot take, Josh is under fire, stay or go. And for our last hot take is Marshall Lassiter, the best shooter in PBA history. Are you guys ready?
Ready na.
Ready na.
Before we get started, no, dun sa first topic, pwede ba magpalapakan lang tayo konti? Kasi nakuha natin yan, di ba? I'm very proud of our country drawing that, and it's very, very exciting to talk about this topic. Why don't you go ahead and set us up, Arlo?
Okay, so for our first hot take, Philippines will be under the spotlight as it welcomes the best volleyball teams next year. Yes, this 2025. So ano masasabi niyo doon na El and Dino na tayo ang mag-host nitong liga na to this year?
For me, honestly, like I said, no, kaya ako nagpaano ng round of applause because this is a very big honor for us as a country, but not only an opportunity as well. Kasi we all know that sa ngayon, 2024, basketball is still the arguably the number one sport.
Number one?
The number one sport pa rin.
Arguably
number one sport pa rin. Number one sport pa rin.
Walang arguably, number one ang basketball sa Pilipinas.
But volleyball is growing, and it's rightfully so. I think it's opening up other opportunities for other volleyball players, fans, enthusiasts in our country. And for this to happen in 2025, na makuha natin ito, it will not only just reinforce the love or the growing love of volleyball for our country, but it will actually open doors for motivation, inspiration, opportunities, not only from the sports level, but for also the youth level. Like other people will be able, our kids, both men and women, young boys and young girls, will have the opportunity to see it firsthand ang men's volleyball, which is it's a big sport all over the world, and makikita natin ito, mag-host tayo, and not only that, it will be good for our country as well kasi tayo mag-host, syempre babango tayo, we will go hand in hand with volleyball as a sport and as a nation as well.
So grabe yung exposure.
Yes.
How about you, Dino?
Just to add on to what IL said, when you compete at the highest level of a particular sport, like for volleyball, it's this World Championship, it gives you a chance to see the gap or kumbaga how you level against the best of the world. So for me, this is good for us since we're ranked number 64 in the world, and I think the lowest ranked team in this tournament, di natin ka-group, is Algeria. And they're actually number 50. So sa akin, being the lowest ranked team, I think this is good for us. Makikita natin where we level, and especially for our players, magandang experience to and to our coaching staff. So that's one thing that I wanted to add with Dael. Now, going in terms of how we're gonna compete against these teams, number one, we have to understand, but paano ba tayo nag-qualify dito sa FIVB World Championship, which will happen next year in September. We are the host. That's why we qualified. So, that only means is, parang nung sa basketball lang, nung nag-World Cup tayo last year, our qualification was we were a host. So, ganun yung setup natin dito. So, that means you're going up against the best of the best. Hindi tayo nag-qualify because we earned it through yung Asian Championship. Okay? Now, do I think we can win in this tournament or do I think we can compete or at the level of the best of the world? Tingin ko in this edition, malabo. Because sa group pa lang natin, Iran number 15, Egypt number 20, Tunisia number 24. And if you were to look at, bakit ko nasabi na mahirap sa atin and I don't think we're gonna win a single game? Just look at the 2024 Southeast Asia Men's V-League. Sino ba yung nag-participate doon? Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam. Thailand is ranked number 65, Indonesia was ranked number 54, Vietnam ranked number 55. We're number 64 and we placed third doon. So hindi na, etong Thailand saka Indonesia, they were the first, Thailand was first, Indonesia was second, they didn't even qualify for the World Championship. And obviously, the teams that are playing here are much, much better than us. And the teams that beat us dun sa Southeast Asia Men's V-League. So sa akin, ang makikita ko dito, it would be hard for us to even win a single game. Maybe even a single set. Medyo mahirap yan. Kasi you're going up against the best. Now, on that, contrary to that, I'd rather see siguro yung development and the game plan of the national program, not just for the men's volleyball, but obviously for our women's volleyball. Gusto kong makita is, ano ba talaga yung plano? What's the development here? Yes, tataas yung points natin by hosting a World Cup, by competing in a World Championship. But sa akin, gusto kong makita is, how are we gonna use this to catapult ourselves to the next level of men's volleyball and volleyball in general here in the country? Yun yung big question mark sa akin. Kasi kung titingnan natin, malabo talaga manalo dito.
Right.
But sa akin, I'd rather see what the national program would look like 4 years, 5 years down the road coming out of this World Championship hosting.
Right.
Yes. Tapos, dahil nasa hosting tayo ng volleyball, napansin nyo, guys, ng mga nakaraan na liga, yung VNL, Volleyball Nations League, grabe yung fans, grabe yung mga nanonood, while talagang sold out sa MOA Arena.
Yeah, panalo talaga ang ano dyan.
Oo.
Dito
Filipino
sa
fans.
Panalo talaga yung fans kasi and all nabanggit na rin ni yung inspiration,
Yes.
yung mga aspiring volleyball players.
Right.
Makikita nila yung the best of the best.
Right.
Di ba kung ikaw parang it's like kung sa basketball nilagay mo, nandun si LeBron, nandun si Steph Curry.
Dadayuhin talaga nila eh.
Dadayuhin mo talaga eh. And it's a growing sport. So sa akin, panalo talaga dito yung fans.
Right.
But sa akin, I have yet to say na panalo yung national program natin. Kasi it can be mag-participate ka pero wala kang napulot.
Right.
Or nag-participate ka without a strategy, without a plan. How are we gonna jump off from this World Cup hosting towards our next level?
Right.
How about you, Hyle?
And to reiterate lang and to validate what Dino is saying, no, so far sa Southeast Asia pa lang, Southeast Asia, hindi pa tayo nag-gold sa SEA Games, di ba? Sa men's volleyball na Philippines. Pero nakapag-silver na tayo in 2019. Marami na tayong silver dating all the way back in the 70s pa. So, malaki pa yung ceiling natin eh. And it's a growing sport in terms of, nandun yung passion. Now, we have this opportunity na, okay, makikita natin, meron tayong exposure, meron tayong awareness. People all over the world are gonna travel to the Philippines to see the best of the best play. And not only that, we have front seats in everything. And so, not only is it gonna generate exposure, but hopefully I likened it to nung 1992 Dream Team Basketball. Nung nakita nung Europe yung sina Michael Jordan naglaro, tambak na ang layo pa nung gap eh. But now, titignan natin, closing the gap na talagang Europe is catching up. We dream to see one day that as much as we are very passionate about volleyball, we dream to see that one day, yung skill level and talent level natin, mapapantayan din natin eventually. And sinasabi nga ni Dino, no, wag muna tayo mag-expect na mananalo tayo this next year. It's just a great opportunity for us to lay the foundation depending on whether or not kung maganda yung sistema na i-implement natin moving forward, diba?
Ako okay, sige, ganda nito for our tourism and everything.
Yes.
Kinakabahan ako sa traffic eh. Kasi 32 teams eh, di ba?
Right,
Tapos
right.
Araneta, tapos MOA. But ako, I think maganda tignan yung Japan when yung basketball side nila. I think 10 years ago, nasuspend sila ng FIBA eh.
Yes.
They were forced to form one league. and eventually doon lumabas yung B-League. And at the same time, nag-host sila ng Tokyo Olympics. So parang ang ganda nung plano nila binuo yung B-League before ng Tokyo Olympics, tapos after Tokyo Olympics, naglaro sila ng Paris Olympics. Ang ganda nung pagkakasunod-sunod nila eh.
Yeah.
Japan basketball is rising right now. So on the rise sila. So diba, tas may players pa sila na nagkaroon ng something contract with the Memphis Grizzlies,
Right,
yung point guard nila doon. So parang sa akin, how can we do that as well? Diba? I think we have to learn from them na parang how can we build off from hosting para magtuloy-tuloy yung programa.
Yeah.
Ang ganda nun. Ganda na sinabi ni Dino.
Right.
Nice. So let's move on to our next hot take. Josh is under fire. Stay or go.
Sinong Josh to? Josh
Reyes.
Josh Reyes. Kala ko kung sinong... Josh Smith. Josh Groban. Hindi ko alam kung sino.
Dino,
Josh Reyes.
go.
Just to provide context in terms of around this topic, no? Bakit mainit siya ngayon? And kasi number one, kakatapos lang nung FIBA U18 Asia Cup or Asian Championship, no? And we didn't even qualify for the quarterfinals. Now, to provide further context, number two is bakit ba sobrang critical ng mga fans, ng mga Pinoy basketball fans, yung mga nanonood ng Gilas, di ba? And I think we have to go back to, because basketball is our national sport. It is our number one sport. That's why all these Filipinos are very passionate when it comes to the game of basketball. Kasi hindi mo naman makikita yan sa weightlifting pag di nag-medal. Patanggalin nyo na yung coach na yan. Sa basketball, talagang compare mo sa weightlifting, 100 times yung magnifying glass niyan.
Exactly.
Especially when you're representing our country. Kasi kung nag-professional league yan, wala naman tayong interest dyan masyado unless you're attached, you're a fan of the team, di ba? But this is our national team. That means you represent our country. Not just yourself, not just your family, not just your friends, but the whole nation, which is number one yung sport ng basketball. Kaya siguro mainit itong topic na to.
Yes.
Now, sa akin, ang masasabi ko dito, I guess, pwedeng stay, pwedeng go. Now, why go? Why palitan na si Josh Reyes?
Why?
Sa akin, sa basketball, you're only as good as your last game. Yes, nadala niya tayo sa World Cup na nag-qualify tayo. I applaud him for that, for carrying that team. Kudos to him. But if you will look at what happened in this Asian Championship, for me, papayag tayo, hindi tayo top 8 sa Asia. Diba? Hindi ko na hinihingi yung top 4 kasi kasama na yung nandiyan yung Australia, nandiyan yung New Zealand, nandiyan yung China. Pero papayag tayo, hindi tayo nakapasok ng top 8. Sa akin, marami ng coaches na nawalan ng trabaho kahit winning season sila. Just look at Dwayne Casey. Back in 2018, he was the NBA Coach of the Year 2 days after he got fired.
Whoa.
Hindi pa niya nakukuha yung award niya, tinanggal na siya sa trabaho because they got eliminated by Cleveland. No? During the time na nandun pa si LeBron James. Mike Budenholzer, more recently, 2021 NBA champion. 2023, they were the number 1 seed. Nilaglag sila ng Miami, tanggal sa trabaho. So sa akin, para the only solution para patahimikin yung mga nagsasabi na palitan na yan is you win. That's it. Now, yun yung sasabihin ko, yun yung reason ko bakit you have to let him go. Now, why stay? Sa akin, I don't think you can put it solely on him lang yung reason Kasi nakita ko yung laro parang ang layo nung level, nung skill level ng players. Kasi, sige, yung mga nagde-defend kay Josh Reyes, kung di siya tatanggalin, sino sisisihin natin? Are we a team that is outside top 8 in Asia? For me, that's not acceptable. So if it's not him, then who? Kasi sila lang naman nasa game. Coach, players. So kung hindi yung coach, edi players. So kung may kasalanan yung players, sino pa nagde-develop ng players? Hindi, edi yung coach din naman, di ba? Pero I wouldn't put it on Coach Josh kasi syempre, from different schools yan So, Ako, ang nakikita ko dito is probably we have to take a look at the quality of coaching that we have here in this country. Kasi yung development parang kulang.
Yep.
So sa akin, if we're looking at it on that level, yung development na players, stay si Josh.
Stay.
Pero if we're gonna look at based on results, you have to go. Saka tatanungin ko dyan, sino papalit mo?
Ayun nga. Pero ikaw, El, sino? I mean, stay or go para kay
Okay.
Coach Josh.
In context, no, meron kasi last week si Sir Snowbad, nag-comment siya. He's
yeah.
calling for an oust for Coach Josh Reyes, who has been the youth coach for under 16, under 18 for a couple of years now. I think last year. And so, yun nga, tulad sinabi ni Dino, yung last year's team nag-qualify sa World. In this year, hindi pumasok sa top 8, di ba? Hindi pumasok sa...
Saan to, sa World Cup?
Sa World...
Hindi, sa World Cup, last place sa World Cup.
Yung this
Dito
year sa under 18.
Hindi pumasok ng quarters.
Hindi pumasok ng quarters at all, di ba? So, playoffs. So, just to give a little context, meron to oust Josh, and I can't help but feel like this is tied with his father, Coach Chot Reyes. So, mga hindi nakakalam, comment lang kayo mamaya ng mga thoughts and we'd love to hear it. So, anak siya ni Coach Chot Reyes, okay? Hindi pa siya nakapag-coach ng any college level, pro level. However, he's been an important assistant coach in several teams, including Gilas, Stock and Tex, kahit wala na yung father niya doon. So, meron remnants ng yung talagang maraming tao hindi kasi may gusto kay Coach Chot, di agree kay Coach Chot, na dadala kay Coach Josh. Pero I won't blame them because that's part of him also getting certain jobs because he's the son of Coach Chot Reyes, di ba? However, may mga nangyari kasi yan di ba? For this year, yung top key player ng national team, which is the rising star, Andy Gimao, na-injure siya. Okay? Na-injure siya right before the tournament. He's not 100%. And so, and then last year, si Kiefer Alas sa World, na-injure din na ACL. So, hindi healthy yung team to begin with. Both teams. And the reason why I'm stating these things is because to say na i-out na natin si Josh is sort of like resorting to the easiest scapegoat, which is the head coach. Yun ang pinakamadaling gawin. Sino bang may kasalanan niya? Yung head coach na lang kasi he's the one.
So sino may kasalanan?
Ako, ito yung sabihin ko. Ang kasalanan nito yung system natin. Okay? Yung development program natin. We must ask ourselves, tayo nagko-comment, di ba? Nagko-comment na tanggalin na, alisin na natin yan. Bakit? Nag-invest ba tayo sa youth program natin? The way we're investing to the Gilas program? Nag-invest ba tayo the same way? And I remember nung sa World, nagsabay yung team ni na Brownlee, 'di ba? Yung team ni na Brownlee, tapos yung youth team natambakan ng 70-80 points sa USA yata, sa Team USA. Guys, let me remind you that first time natin nag-qualify sa World, that was already an achievement. Okay? And let me remind you, wala tayong Justin Brownlee. Pinupuri natin yung Gilas team na hundreds of millions of pesos ang ini-invest natin year to year. And then also recruitment. And then may naturalized player pa tayo na Justin Brownlee. Okay? Tapos, ang galing nila, sayang natalo tayo sa Brazil, ganyan. Pero yung youth team, which I have also heard, compared to when I was part of the national team youth dati, mas konti pa yung funds nila ngayon compared to what we had before. So, we must ask ourselves before we can say na pangit yung ginawa, pangit yung performance, na tambakan tayo ng USA ng 70. Wait lang, lagyan natin ng context. Nakapasok tayo ng World, which is the first time ever. That's already an achievement. Pangalawa, nag-i-invest ba tayo the same way? Kasi parang ang ginawang comparison nun is, ang galing ng Gilas. May Justin Brownlee tayo, guys, ha? May Justin Brownlee tayo na ni-naturalist na players. Tanggalin natin si Justin Brownlee. I'm not sure if we're gonna perform the same way then.
Wait,
So,
guys. Si Dino may gusto nang
Yes.
sabihin. Kanina pa gumagano si
Sorry. Go ahead.
Di ba sinabi mo, ang ganda na laro
Right.
ng ano? Do you think it would have happened if Chot was the coach?
Sa ano?
Ginawa natin sa OQT. Kasi you remember, after Chot was replaced, Team Con took over, Asian Games gold medal. Ganda ng FIBA OQT natin. Tinalo pa natin yung world number 6 at the
Right.
time, which was Latvia.
Right.
So, you can't blame the fans kasi nung pinalit, gumanda.
Right. Gumanda in a sense, pero I think it's the first time na Justin Brownlee yung import natin, no? Na
pero
on that level. Dati Jordan
Clarkson, di ba?
Yeah.
So parang, okay, may import ka dati, may import ka rin ngayon. Pero gumanda nung pinalitan yung coach.
Right.
Di ba? So pwedeng maging argument ng mga fans, nung pinalit nga si Chot, naging team, gumanda yung laro. So, si Josh...
Hindi, ang argument ko naman doon, hindi lang yung coach yung pinalitan natin. Kumbaga, marami tayong players na hindi kasama, marami tayong players na hindi part nun. Also, at the same time, for me talaga mas perfect fit si Justin Brownlee. Okay? So, given that...
Is it that a reflection of the coach?
Yes, but also at the same time, I'm also arguing about the development program. Kumbaga, whether or not Coach Tab, Chot is there, what plans are we doing compared to the Gilas team, to the national team? And I might argue that it wasn't even a failure because we qualified the world. Hindi tayo nag-qualify nung Gilas natin sa Olympics, di ba? Sa Olympics. Yeah.
Tapos, going back to your other argument, you mean to say, without Andy Gemau, we cannot be a top 8 team in Asia?
I think so. I think so.
You cannot be? Without your top player, you cannot be a top...
Yes. I think it would be the same way as if Justin Brownlee wasn't part of the Gilas. Can we have beaten the Latvia team?
But we can be top 8 in the world. In Asia.
But that's...
Without Justin
No.
Brownlee.
That's hard because the Gilas team that we have now took years of... Di ba? Years of fruition yung pagde-development natin sa kanila. Tayo hindi natin develop yung youth program natin for us to say compared to apples and apples na parang okay, ito yung ginawa. Pero ito years yung ini-invest natin.
So what you're trying to say is the development. So it goes back to coaching.
Not necessarily, because also the funding, the development program, the 4-year plan, the 5-year plan, the 3-year plan, the 2-year plan,
So
the 1-year plan.
Yung may pagkukulang is is basketball leaders natin.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
That's why I'm split. That's why I'm split.
Okay.
Kasi nature in basketball,
Right.
you have to win. If you don't win, then you're out.
Right.
At the same time, you have to take a look at the development.
Right.
Diba? So, ako, critical talaga ako sa basketball leaders ng kanila. Ano pinagagawa natin?
I would argue that yes, kasi you're making my point. We're doing it sa Gilas. I'm also pushing for na before we look at the head coaching and say na fire na natin yan, which again he accomplished. It's like winning a championship yung to qualify in the world. I would say before we look at the coach, let's look at the program, the sports leaders.
So,
Kumbaga the same way investment natin sa Gilas. Same way sa youth program, which is might even be good for the Gilas kasi from the grassroots baka nag-i-invest
Part
na
of
tayo.
that, I think it's the quality of coaching that we have in this country. Yes,
Yeah.
kaya nagtataka tayo, ba't di nagtatranslate yung galing dito? Ang galing nila dito, pero pagdating sa ibang bansa,
Right.
Yun eh. Ako, nakikita ko dyan, I think, how we develop the players. And ang laking bagay doon is the coaches that we have in this country. So, sorry man kung may matamaan, pero sa akin nakikita ko kulang eh. Just like when development,
Right.
coaches yan eh.
Even yung pag-development ng coaches natin is also part of the bigger program, call to
Coaches
program.
and the people that are handling.
Yes.
Exactly. So now, guys, thank you for that. Let's move on to our last hot take. Is Marshall Lassiter the best shooter in PBA history? Kahapon lang to, guys. Yesterday, he became the league's all-time leading 3-point shooter in history. What can you say about that? Do you know?
Do you think he's the best?
First off, congratulations kay Marshall Lassiter kasi, di ba, number 1 na siya sa 3-point field goal leaders natin sa PBA. I want to congratulate kasi naging fan ako ng Powerade when he was a rookie. It was during the time that he played with their own version of Big Three. JV Casio, Gary David, El Granada, tsaka si Marshall Lassiter, silang tatlo yun. Tapos, I think si Alex Crisano naglalaro pa doon nung time yun. Si Jai Reyes was also part of that team. So parang sa akin, I was a big fan of them kasi grabe yung tuloy-tuloy puro 3 points yun. But going back to the topic, I don't think he's the best shooter in of all time. Kasi if ang layo na nung evolution ng 3-point ng 3 points From where it started before na, di ba, patumpik-tumpik lang yung tira nun or ano, marami na yung 5 attempts before. Ngayon, you see players attempting 10 3-point shots in a game. So, volume-wise pa lang, lamang ka na Kung player ka ngayon, lamang ka na sa pag-reach nung all-time leader in 3-point field goals made Now, just taking a look at stats. Now, if you look at the NBA, wala kasi mahirap kasi maghanap ng stats sa PBA. Google ka na, hindi ka makahanap. As in, magtanong-tanong na ako, sobrang hirap maghanap. So back in 2010 and 2011, out of all the field goal attempts, 2 points and 3 points, 22.2% were 3-point shots. So ibig sabihin, 2 out of every 10 shots, 3 points yon. Now, fast forward 10 years, 2020 to 2021, 39.2% na yung tinitira.
Sheesh!
Now, backtrack pa tayo. 1987 to 1988, 10%, the highest team at that time, 10% lang of their shots was 3 points. So, if we're to look at it, lamang na lamang si Marshall Lassiter dito pag sa makes kasi number one, he has the volume. Ngayon, sinasabi din dun sa article na yun, off the dribble. Ngayon, yung off the dribble na 3 points, mas maraming attempts ngayon. Before, spot up lang yun Hindi naman yan yung off the dribble na ginagawa. So for me, I wouldn't pick him. I'd rather have Alan Kaydik. As for me, the greatest shooter of all time. Kasi sa Pilipinas, he has the record of the most 3-point field goals and attempts. 17 out of 27 siya back in 1991. The most 3-point field goals made in a quarter, 8 triples. Most consecutive 3-point field goals made in a single game, 8 triples. And nung time na yun, nanganganak pa yung misis niya, so he had to leave. He had to leave the middle of the fourth quarter, no? 79 points yung in-score niya nung game na yun. So for me, he was ahead of his time. And kung makikita mo yung numbers, 1-2-4-2 siya si Marshall Lassiter, 1-2-5-4. And Alan Kaydik played in an era wherein the 3-point shot wasn't as popular to where it is now. Hindi siya when I was playing in high school, more than a decade ago, hindi naman ina-advocate ng coach ko na tumira ng 3 points Diba? So sa akin, I wouldn't pick him as the best shooter. I would go Alan Kaydik.
How about you, El?
Ako, to reiterate what Dino is saying, congratulations to Marcio as this is a huge success. But kwento ko lang short story kung gaano ka-shooter si Marshall Lassiter. Naglalaro pa ako. Meron kaming kalaban namin San Miguel. So this was Junmar, yung strong 5 nila era. Okay? So may action na, ang game plan namin, dodobolin namin si Junmar Fajardo. Okay? So si Junmar, ayun na, nag-double na. Tapos ako yung tao ko si Marcio. Magro-rotate ako sa gitna to cover for Arwin Santos. Okay? Basta ganyan yung game plan namin. Tapos, di na, nangyari na, nag-double na kay Junmar. Nag-rotate na ako kay Arwin Santos. Libre ngayon si Marshall Lassiter. Okay? So, libre ngayon si Marshall Lassiter sa right wing. Naalala ko ba to? Pagtingin kong ganun, walang tao. And imbis na magpanggap pa ako na mag-close out, humabol at mag-try mag-challenge, kaming 5 magti-teammates, nagtinginan na kami. Everything was moving in slow motion. Hindi niya pa na-shoot to pero yung tinginan na namin na parang, okay, sino may kasalanan? Kasi alam na namin na-shoot yun. Kahit di niya pa na-shoot, alam na namin na pasok yun. Ganon ka-shooter si Marshall. He's that guy that general knowledge yun sa PBA na kapag libre siya, kasalanan mo yun. Or may nagkamali sa defense. So, ganun siya ka-dead shot. And congratulations to him. Well-deserved since Powerade days and all the way San Miguel days. I think he's one of the best 3-point shooters. But I agree with Dino that I still don't think that he is the best shooter in PBA history. Only because...
Lakas ng kampi. May dinodoble yung kampi.
Exactly. Only because of the system of San Miguel permitted him to have the shots that he can have, no? I remember Damian Lillard said the same thing to Steph, no, na parang, andali yan kasi malilibre siya eh. But Steph was able to prove it nung humina na yung team nila, na he was still able to create his shots. Meron tayong Junmar Fajardo, double and may malilibre yan, either si Alex Cabagnot or si Marshall Lassiter or si Arwin Santos. So, he will have that opportunity. However, that's not my argument why he isn't the best shooter. I think for the type of shots that one can take, I think Jimmy Alapag is still for me the best shooter only because of this. He can shoot off the dribble, off the pull-up. All threes, we're just strictly talking about three-point shooting. Of the three-point shot, of the ball screen, of a handoff, of multiple ways, pull-up, fast break, long range, long before there was a 4-point line, he was shooting it from way back. From the pro level and even in the international level, he was succeeding at that. And that's why I think Jimmy Alapag is for me still the best shooter. And also clutch. Also in clutch situations, he can knock it down. My only argument for Alan kay Dick, which Dino had tremendous points, no? Talagang he was ahead of his time. My only thing is, he is the best shooter when it comes to spot up. Like catch and shoot, spot up. But
because the game hasn't evolved.
Exactly, exactly. But also at the same time, the defense weren't pressuring up. To them back then, 3 points was a bad shot eh. Kasi parang ang labanan nun, sige, talunin mo kami sa 3-point shot, okay lang. So yung defense, hindi ganun kalakas to really talagang close out on Alan kay Dick. But at the same time, he was succeeding it. He was knocking it down. Kaya lang, best spot-up shooter, steady hand, trigger man talaga Alan kay Dick. But for me, yung variety and dynamic type of shots ni Jimmy, and to shoot it at a high level, in this generation, no, in different ranges, and even in different levels. That's why I think Jimmy Alapag is still the best shooter for me.
Sa akin, nag-evolve na yung game.
Yeah.
Ang hirap i-compare that in players that played in different eras, players that never played against each other. Sa akin, if you put Alan kay Dick in this era of basketball, I'm sure he can do his off-the-dribble thing, di ba? He's pretty accurate sa akin. So, sa akin, if meron ako itataya ng buhay ko, sa last kumbaga sa clutch 3-point shot, I would put it on Alan kay Dick. I would put my money on him.
And to note,
not Jimmy Alapag.
And to note, Alan kay Dick,
17 out of 27, bro.
And he's also playing at, ano ba tawag dito, yung mga charity games. Yung matanda na siya. And he's still knocking it down.
Yeah.
However, I would argue, we don't have the stats to prove it, but this is just an eye test, na I think ang pinaka-clutch na
17 out of 27 in one game.
I think when the game, bahay ko on the line, sunugan bahay, Jimmy Alapag will save my life or my house. Jimmy Alapag because may clutch factor na 3-point shootout.
3-point shootout. Jimmy Alapag ka?
Jimmy Alapag.
Okay, guys.
Alan kay Dick.
Now let's move on to our Facebook comments. Facebook and TikTok comments. For our first comment, thank you, Champion Online Shop. Sana mabigyan ng chance si Josh to prove himself. Lagi na lang na anak ni Chot yan. I hope there's a college team na kumuha sa kanya para malaman kung gaano siya kagaling.
Thank you for that, Champion Online Shop. Na. Actually, it goes to my point. That goes hand in hand. Wala, anak ka ni Chot Reyes. Talagang you're gonna be in the same conversation for the rest of your life, diba? The same way Bronny and LeBron James, diba? However, he did prove himself kasi nag-qualify sila sa World eh. So meron din siyang accomplishment. Hindi necessarily, I do think that it's about time for him to start coaching a college team. I think nag-focus siya ngayon sa international and sa youth. But yes, I think he has proven himself already. I think on an international level, I think he deserves another chance. I think we can build a program around his leadership as well. Pero not necessarily didiretsohin natin na same sila ni Coach Chot, di ba? Parang hindi sila the same style, hindi sila the same ano.
Yeah. How about you, Dino?
Sa akin kasi, dali balikan yung mga nagawa before eh. Sa akin, like, kung magaling ka last season, pakita mo magaling ka pa rin dito. Kasi ganun ang mundo ng sports eh. It's not, hindi dahil magaling ka 5 years ago. Kaya nga may nagre-retire na players, may nagre-retire na coaches, it's because hindi mo na panahon, di ba? So sa akin, if he has to if he really wants to prove it na he deserves that job, then he has to win. Plain and simple. Diba? Kasi ang nangyari sa atin, ito sa akin parang just to be frank about it, hindi ko naman nila lahat-lahat, pero napapansin ko madaming apologies sa sports eh. Like, parang ang nangyayari is, we're trying to find an excuse or find a reason bakit lumaban naman yung team eh. Di ba? At least nakaganitong place tayo eh. Nanalo naman tayo ng isang game, ng 2 game eh. Sa akin, it's either you have excuses, you have results. There's nothing in between. Hindi po, yun yung nagiging nakikita kong trend sa sports natin na, okay lang yan, lumaban naman. Eh, hindi ba yun yung mandatory for national athletes is lumaban? Yun lang sa akin. Parang sa akin, number 1 sport natin to. Nakakahiya, tinatalo tayo ng mga Japan, Korea, mas mataas pa pinili sa India, nag-top 8 pa dito sa quarterfinal. Sa akin, that's not acceptable for me.
Alright, let's move on to our next comment. Thank you, Dropping Dimes Events Manila. Alas, Pilipinas will shock the world. Chill ka lang, Dino. Ganyan din haters ng Gilas. At tayo dyan, unahin na kita, Dino.
Ako, I'm just being realistic. If you can't beat Southeast Asian teams, you're not gonna beat the World Cup, World Championship teams. Plain and simple.
How about you, El?
Again, to what Dino is saying, no, in terms of sa Alas Pilipinas, mayroon tayong opportunity. Ngayon, siguro yung expectation natin, kahit tayo mag-host, nakuha natin yun out of drawing. So, yes, pwede tayong lumaban, pero realistically, 64 tayo. 64th tayo in the world. And so, we can shock the world, but that shouldn't be our expectation coming into it.
For sure naman, that's not the expectation. So I think the expectation is to gain experience, kumbaga, how can we use this World Championship to develop further the program itself. Pero you're gonna win.
Right.
Malabo.
Yeah.
And now, next comment. Thank you, Anthony Perez. Dino Lee, Marshall reminds me of our local version, Klay Thompson. Absolutely on fire of the curls, screen, KO cash, and shoot threat. Don't forget he was also a stopper in Gilas. 1.0 guarding elite wings like Mika Barami.
Si Anthony yan, kilala natin yan. Hi Anthony, thank you for commenting and mentioning me as well. Yeah, we're not saying that he's a bum. We're not saying that he can't shoot. But when we talk about the greatest shooter of all time, I think Alan Kaidik, and ako siguro masasabihin ko pa si Jimmy Alapag much better than Marcio Lassiter. Pero number 1 ko pa rin si Alan Kaidik.
Yeah. Legend yun.
And for our last comment, thank you, Kiko Malikdem. Agree, Alan Kaigdik. In international basketball, Kaigdik was feared, unlike Marshall. What can you say about that, guys?
Even until now, he's how old already? 60? Hindi ko alam 60 plus, maybe 70.
Parang,
he's still feared when you...
He was born 1961, so he's around 63.
He's still feared. Like, in terms of shooting, like, let's say, may bet kayo or kung magko-compete kayo sa park, talagang katakutan pa rin si Alan Kaidik. Yeah.
Saka we didn't get to see Marshall like play a lot of games or minutes in international basketball eh.
Right.
Tapos hindi natin nakita masyado yung shooting niya pag kasi di ba nangyayari usually sa atin pagdating ng international, but shooter dito sa Pilipinas pagdating sa international di makashoot, di ba?
I think there was one tournament lang na kaso ang kasabay niya si Matthew Wright.
Yeah.
So sila yung palitan nun. Hindi siya yung solely like yung opportunity na binigay kay Jeff Chan. Yun talagang siya yung designated shooter. Hindi natin nabigyan ng opportunity ganun si Marshall.
I think Jimmy if international-wise, in the modern era, I think Jimmy Alapag was the player that had that showed the shooting prowess.
Right.
I think it was him.
Yes.
So, Alan Kaidik is Alan Kaidik.
Trigger man.
Kaya nga siya nilabel na Steph Curry of the Philippines.
And now, guys, balikan lang natin yung mga hot takes natin a while ago. Brief recap. For our first hot take, FIVB Men's Volleyball World Championship hosting?
Great opportunity, great exposure for us. Let's be easy with our expectations.
Chill lang tayo, guys. How about you, Dino?
I wanna see what it will build up towards.
Yes.
Kasi kung nag-host lang tayo, tas wala yung clear concrete strategy and plan from that World Championship, then parang feel ko masasayang. Yes, mananalo yung fans, yung mga aspiring players, but if we're not gonna learn from that experience, then masasayang for me.
And for our second hot take, Coach Josh Reyes. Under fire, stay or go?
Ako, before we take a look at the head coach, we look at the program. We check first if we've invested enough the way we comment enough on the head coach. Yeah.
Sa akin, both. You're only as good as your last game. So, based on the last game, he has to go. But, if he doesn't go, fix the program. And, ito yung lagi sinasabi ng mentor ko sa akin a couple of years ago, as above, so below. So, whatever is happening in SBP, and whatever is happening in our youth program, in our Gilas team, it's a reflection of what happens in SBP. That's basically it. So, kung development program yan, it's the responsibility of our National Sports Association, which is the Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas. And I think people have been critical about them. So, hopefully they wake up and make this happen. Kasi di pwede tayo yung parang, lumaban naman tayo, thank you for the good fight. No way, man, it's our #1 sport. That's not acceptable. If you can't do that, then resign. Di ba? The leaders that we need are people that can carry us to the next level, not leaders that accept the status quo.
Yeah, and for our last hot take, is Marshall Lassiter the best shooter in PBA history?
Congrats, but I still think Jimmy Alapag is the best shooter in PBA history.
Alan kay Dick, all day. Tataya ako buhay ko, Alan kay Dick.
And to our sports fans, are you ready to elevate your sports experience? Dive into the world of live sports like never before with Sports Plus PH. Whether you're a diehard fan or simply love the thrill of the game, we've got you covered. Register at sportsplus.ph. And guys, maraming salamat for tonight sa mga information sa mga takes nyo.
So many things to celebrate, but also so many things to look forward to next year. Yeah.
Thank you, El Banal and Dino Lee, for tonight. Maraming salamat to our sports fans. And you can support us by following Sports Plus PH on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. This has been Arlo De Jesus, your host for SPNation Season 2, and see you in our next episode. Bye guys, have a good night, and please watch this video.
Everybody knows preparation plus opportunity equals success. I remember going back to my parents and just like crying. I'm like, I don't really want to play anymore. This is not for me. But like my parents, my brother was there, my sister was there. Obviously, I don't want to let them see me cry. Basketball is really life for me. Everything I do since I was young too. Didn't take no vacations. I was just all basketball. I mean, I'm super interested just to ask them, like, what do you want to be? I guess that's something I should do. And I'm gonna keep playing for you guys.
And that is a wrap. My God.